Hey, ladies and gents, this is Mike Headley. We are back on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. A lot of times we get people on the show, and some people may not have the experience, which is nothing wrong with that. They want to pick up some good jewels, some good insight. But we got a brother right here that's seasoned in the game. Very, very versed on the knowledge of just real estate in itself. This brother has been giving jewels up for an extended period of time. He's a big powerhouse on social media. The name of his company, WA Property Project Incorporated, and we want to give his name, Mr. Welby Accely. How you doing, brother? Thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You know, one thing about our show, we let all the viewers know, we keep it real, we keep it honest. This is a busy brother right here, right? So we was going back and forth with time, and that's why you see the brother in his car, but he took time out to be on our show and as well as enlightening viewers on his skill set, expertise, and experience. So give us, what would you prefer to be called? I want to make sure I get this correct.
Oh, Welby's fine. Welby's fine.
Welby's cool. Okay. So Welby, real estate, right? Now let's go back to the grassroots. What was that spark? What was that make you say, yo, I'm doing this, but this ain't cutting it. Let me jump in this game. Walk us down that lane.
Well, first off, as far as being in my car, this is my office. So Most of the time, anytime I'm doing anything, everything is in my car, and for the people that are watching, this is the real life of a real estate investor. You understand? Right. This is how we get down. But as far as the spark for me in real estate, I actually got the seed planted in my mind about real estate at about the age of 7 years old. And I didn't realize how much the seed that wasn't planted in me affected me, but it wasn't until later on in life, in my early 20s. But at 7 years old, I'm one of 5 boys. I'm first generation Haitian American, and we were living in the projects in Brooklyn, in Canarsie projects in Brooklyn. So I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. And I have a godfather that used to come and pick me and my siblings up, that lived in a very nice area of Long Island, which is a part of New York. So you imagine now, growing up, I always tell people that my parents were overly protective, rightfully so. So when we would be allowed to ride our bikes, they would allow us to ride our bikes in the cul-de-sac of the projects. So while other kids were maybe riding off to the park and different things like that, we would only be able to ride in the cul-de-sac. But my godfather, when he would come to visit us, he was always nicely dressed. He always drove a nice car, and he would come and visit us. And I always was intrigued by how nicely dressed and well-groomed he was. He would then take us to visit him at his property in Long Island, and I was blown away by the trees and just the nice atmosphere of where they were living. So what happened, one of the things that actually blew my mind was that he would actually give us bikes and would just tell us to ride our bikes. And the fact that we would initially ride our bikes in the sidewalk, and he would say, "What are you doing? Ride your bike in the middle of the street, go free."
Oh, wow.
And just that little access of that little bit of freedom influenced me so much that at that age, I knew I was going to end up living in Long Island eventually. So from that point on, later on, I discovered that my godfather was in real estate, and that he owned a brokerage, and he had a handful of properties and stuff like that. And that's how it got introduced to me about real estate.
So let's peel it back a little bit, and I can relate to this. When you said, "I want to ride my bike," I want to ride my bike up and down the block. No, it's fine. It's cool. I want to ride my bike up and down the block versus street, because like in Brooklyn, it's like, yo, we just go next block. We don't ride on the street. We might get hit. So you was like, that opened your brain to say, okay, well, wow, this is something I can eventually be doing in terms of real estate. So let's shift. What was that first deal like? Because again, now, was that a buy and hold, a flip, a wholesale? That first deal in real estate, what was that like?
First off, my first piece of property I bought was in 2004. That was just before the subprime mortgage crash. And what I was doing what I was doing is similar to what a lot of the people are doing today. I wanted to get into the game, but I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to say that I owned. So when I bought a piece of property, I was living in New York. I was gainfully employed. So I utilized the money I was making for my employment and said, let me go to a smaller market. And at that time, Atlanta was like the Mecca for African Americans to go to, especially in 2004. And everybody was doing a pilgrimage to move to Atlanta.
Right.
So I had a handful of friends of mine that moved to Atlanta. I didn't plan on moving to Atlanta, but I said, let me invest in Atlanta. So my goal was to do a buy and hold deal. And ultimately what I ended up doing, myself, and I have a twin brother and a couple of cousins and friends, when I move, I tend to have people move with me. Right. So when I moved, everybody said that Welby's going to Atlanta to buy. So they all bought in Atlanta. So I ended up buying a 4-unit building in Atlanta. And that was my first deal.
So you transitioned to, but you physically stayed in New York. You just bought the property in Atlanta.
I've never left New York. I'm still in New York today, but I bought a property in Atlanta.
And speaking of that, buying a property in Atlanta, so you just don't work in your backyard. You work anywhere there's a deal. Is that correct?
Well, I don't want to make it sound that simple, right?
Okay.
I'm 100% transparent. I'm 100% real.
Exactly.
All right. And the reason why I choose to be this way is because I don't want new investors to go through the hell that I went through. Okay. So just because you hearing that I bought me a 4-unit property, that sounds sexy. But what people don't want to hear is the hell I went through when I bought that property. And people don't want to hear why is it that I failed? Because a few years later, I ended up losing the property to foreclosure. So the primary reason why I failed, which is what I talked to the people about today, is I did not understand acquisition. I did not understand the exit strategy or the end goal of the reason why I was buying that particular property. So I was doing like what everybody else is doing today. I went and I bought me a piece of property and I gave myself a high five. I was talking crap to my friends, and as Instagram wasn't really popping like that, but I'm pretty sure I would have been posting up on Instagram. Here it is. I'm a big dog. I just bought me a 4-unit building. But when I bought this property, I didn't understand acquisition, meaning I bought that property for too much money. I didn't understand cash flow. So when I bought that property because it looked good. It looked good and it was cheaper when you compare it to a bigger city like New York, which is what a lot of people are doing today. I also didn't understand the process of analyzing the deal. I depended on other people, i.e. I was depending on the realtor's word. I was depending on what the contractor told me. I was depending on what the attorneys told me. And I was basically letting people lead me to a path that I was about to jump off of a mountain, and I didn't realize it. By the time I finished buying the property, now I'm speeding it up because it's a long story.
No, you're fine.
By the time I ended up buying the property, everybody that was involved in me acquiring that property got paid. The realtor got paid,
Correct.
The lawyer got paid, and everybody else that was involved got paid. But I was the fool that purchased this property. So it was misrepresented to me that the property was going to be being able to rent out for $700-800 per month per apartment, which meant that I should be able to generate roughly $3,200 a month. Right? The building, the best that it was ever able to do was $2,000 a month. My mortgage on that building was $2,200 a month. My property manager charged me 10% of what the total rent roll was. Correct. Which meant he was getting $200 a month out of the rent, as long as I got full rent payment, which Correct. Meant that the best that I was doing, we're not even counting the carrying cost, was $1,800 a month. Yet my mortgage is $2,200 a month. So now here I am in New York, maintaining a property in Atlanta that was not cash flowing for me. And let's not forget, you're gonna have tenants not paying you rent. So I was bleeding. I end up when I bought this property, I don't know if you remember when they were doing the 106% financing.
Correct.
Okay. So I over leveraged the acquisition of that property. By 2000 and 6 or 7, if I remember correctly, I refinanced that property.
Okay.
Similar to what people are talking about with the BRRRR strategy. So with the
exactly.
people that are doing the BRRRR strategy today, I warn people about the BRRRR strategy. Not because the BRRRR strategy isn't good. It's that if you don't effectively understand how to utilize that strategy, all you're gonna do is own a bunch of properties that are over leveraged. And all you need.
Could you tell the people? Could you tell the people what the BRRRR strategy is?
The BRRRR strategy is the acronym is BRRR. I think it's 3 or 4 R's. I can't remember. So it's buy, rehab, refinance, repeat. If I said it all right.
Correct.
So basically, I don't want to jump too far for what I was saying.
Exactly.
We could get back to that. But what ended up happening, by utilizing the BRRRR strategy, I increased now what I owed the banks, which increased my mortgage, which then now the mortgage went from a $2,200 a month mortgage to a $2,400 a month mortgage. By 2009 or 10, everything started crashing down. We all know what happened with the subprime mortgage. And I fell right into that. I ended up losing the building. I ended up losing another property that I had. I ended up going into foreclosure. I ended up owing Bank of America a bunch of money. It became a disaster. So I went from a man with pride that had 700 credit score, 7+ credit score, to destroying my credit, owing a bunch of money, down to a credit score of $500, with my tail between my leg, going back home as a failure. So when people watch and they speak on me, or they speak of me and they hear me, the initial impression that people have of me is, why is he so aggressive? Why is it that he's so no nonsense? And I tell people, we have enough time in the day to F off to do whatever the hell we want. Right? When it comes to you conversing with me about real estate, I'm a no-nonsense attitude player when it comes to that. Because too many of us are getting ran over because we're not understanding what we're doing.
Exactly.
And I didn't have, even despite the fact that I told you about my godfather didn't school me onto the game. I never had a big homie put me on. Everything I did was trial and error. And I got up and fell, got up and fell, got up and fell 3 times through my career, getting wiped out. To the last point that happened. Am I speaking too much, bro?
No, you good. You follow, because I'm a transition with a question, but go ahead.
Okay. So to the point of, I didn't finally start getting hits to the first base, second base, until maybe 2013. So you imagine from 2004 to 2013, I was a failure train wreck. Trying. I had friends laughing at me, or supposed friends and family members laughing at me. I had people talking behind my back. I had people telling me you should stop. I had people that didn't look like me taking advantage of me. I had people that looked like me taking advantage of me. So I decided, fast forward and coming to this point, I finally started admitting to myself that the biggest issue that I was doing is that, and the biggest reasons of my failure was, 1, I was skipping the processes. 2, I was betting on other people over betting on myself. And 3, I would say that it would be that I wasn't literally taking action in the right way. When I finally had these private conversations with myself and was real with myself, and I finally decided to take action, follow the process, and stick to it until it works, is when I started getting results. So I say all of this to say to your audience and everything that I don't want others to go through what I went through. Most people are not going to survive even 1 punch in the face in this business. And you already know, brother, you're in the game. Let alone having to go through 3. So use me as a vessel for you not to have to go through that, and to do better than me quicker than it took for me to do.
The good thing about so many golden nuggets you enlighten us on, the good thing about it is that you learned so much through that grind. So 2013, I take it, is when you got your next deal, the second deal?
No, I got in real estate. I got killed 3 times. So by the time I described to you what took place for me. I had to dust myself off, figure out a way to clean up my credit, figure out a way to hustle, and in between that, I was doing a bunch of other things, bro. Everything I'm telling you, is documented. I got issues. I had issues with the federal government because I was involved in a major a water park project in upstate New York, where my partner embezzled $6 million from it, and the federal government was doing an investigation, and they were following me and the other investors in that investment, only to find out that we were all victims of what my partner was doing. So it was a bunch of things in between, and then I would get back into real estate, start the process all over again, not learn from my mistakes again, and then it all fails again. And then go about it again, start all over again, rebuild, hustle up to get my money back up again, and then go and buy me another property or to try to flip, and then I fail again. Failing over and over again. Because I'm trying.
Correct.
I'm not in the street. I'm not trying to rob nobody. I'm trying to get to it. I'm trying to get the American dream. And I'm trying. So that's what happened to me.
What was that? And again, definitely resiliency at its utmost. What was that mindset? What made you kept saying, like you said, a lot of people say, "Yo, let me give up. I'm not doing this no more." After the first, second, third time, what was in your mind to say, "Yo, this is gonna pop. I know it is, so I'm gonna stick with it"?
I've always had an unbelievable belief in myself, even when I didn't believe in myself. So
powerful.
I don't know where it came from. I gotta say a higher power to a degree that I have to thank God and say thank you for it. But at the same time too, here's how I look at things, right? America is not perfect. All right. But I tell you, I prefer living here versus any other place in the damn world. It gives anybody, regardless of the blockage that's in front of you, if you're truly willing to punch through, it gives everybody an opportunity to be something that you want to be. Versus, I'm Haitian, like I told you. There's no opportunities in my country like that. Who you are and who you born and what you're born into, if you're not careful, is who you're going to be for the rest of your life. So in this country, it might not be easy, but if you want something, you can get it.
That's right.
I didn't say it's going to be easy. So with all of the things that occurred to me, my attitude was always, if that guy can drive that nice car, why can't I drive that car too? If that person is living in a decent neighborhood,
that's right,
why can't I live in the same, if I can't live in the same type of neighborhood too? That was always my attitude. All right. So my thing was that there's nothing today that I haven't wanted to achieve that I haven't achieved. Nothing. For the most part. Let me just say that. I don't want to say that. For the most part. You understand? So that's been my attitude. And in addition to this, right? One of the things that drove me, and this is going to be the first time I'm actually talking about it.
Oh, wow. This is good. We got exclusive people, but go ahead.
I remember, I'm one of 5 boys that my parents had.
Okay.
My eldest brother, he's not with us anymore.
Okay.
But at the age of 18 or 19 years old, my brother got locked up. At my age of 18, 19, my brother had gotten locked up. He made a mistake. In my culture, Haitian culture, we people with pride. So for years, when my brother was locked up, I was the only one, along with my twin brother, that knew he was locked up in my family. So for my brother, at that time, before, which I'll explain what happened to him, he spent about 8 or 9 years in prison, and I was the one carrying and taking care of him.
That's love.
You know, if you understand what I'm saying, right?
I definitely understand. Yeah, that's love.
When my parents would ask, "Hey, have you seen him?" I'd lie about saying I didn't know where he was at. My brother, the reason why I did that is because my brother was extremely protective of me and my brothers. And he knew how my parents, especially my father, would have reacted, and he was concerned about the reaction that would have been set forth upon us because we were still young and still living at home. So one of my driving forces for what I was doing was because I wanted a place for my brother to come home to when it was time for him to come home. I wanted my brother when he came home, and especially because of what the record he would have had a place to work, even if he's working with me. And then it was a big driving force for me that I wanted to buy a home of my own that I can give him a place of his own when he would come home, and not go into a halfway house or anything like that. So that was something that was very motivational for me for the things that I was doing as well, which I never told anybody this. Unfortunately, my brother ends up passing away while incarcerated. He ends up passing away. So it was a major blow for me. With his passing, what happened to me, I have to be real about shit. We could talk all the crap we want.
Correct.
We only got one life.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You can lose the building that you're living in now. You could lose the clothes off your back. You could lose the car you're driving. And every one of those things are replaceable. And it's probably replaceable in a better version than what you had. But the beautiful thing about us as human beings is there's only one me.
That's it.
There's only one you. There's only one of each individual. And I'm a twin brother. I got a twin. I have a twin brother.
Okay.
But when it's time for me to leave this planet, they can have another 7 billion people on this earth, but there will never be another one that's going to match me. And you and the next person.
Exactly.
So my attitude about it is, if I'm going to be on this planet, I'm going to try and get the best I can out of it.
Exactly. That's right. Exactly.
And mind you, bro, I'm not chasing nobody else's lane. I could walk into any room and it could be the biggest player in the game to the smallest player in the game. You're going to respect me because I'm heavy too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about what that next guy is doing. It's about what I can give for myself and for the people I care about. So that's been an attitude that I have about everything that I'm doing. Because once it's over, it's a wrap. We out of here.
That's it. That's it.
So there I go.
Quick commercial break. If you're interested in a career in real estate, or you're a seasoned vet, you might want to change. New environment. You don't like the atmosphere you're in. The Headley Group Realty could be there to assist you with your career. What do we offer? Great culture, great environment, leads, and an awesome commission structure. Let us be there to support your business. One thing, you got to be in the state of North Carolina. Let's get back to the show. Well, brother, let me tell you something. One, I know we share so many sentiments. I believe in the same thing. Starting my company, I'm like, yo, I can do the same thing. Like you said, right. We only live once. As far as what we know, we go around this thing one time. So let me have everything that needs to be, that's in front of me and that I want to go get. Brother, damn, it's some good stuff right there. So let me get to the real estate now.
It's all good.
Now we dived in that second deal. What year was that? And was that a little bit definitely more smoother because what you just went through?
But here's the thing. That's why I want to clear up, because in between 2004 till about 2013, I did multiple real estate deals.
Okay, multiple deals. Gotcha.
All right. The bulk of them were failures. The bulk of them were serious failures. The few that I did and made a lot of money wasn't because I was so smart. It was all luck. It was all luck. So bringing it back to 2021, for the people that are in this business that are making some money, a lot of you guys are making this money not because you're so smart, it's because you're lucky. The market is shooting up through the roof. That is unreal.
Right.
And you guys are catching that run, and and anybody that's willing to throw crap against the wall, and I'm trying to be PG clean.
No. You can keep it on the show. You can curse if you want to. It's all real. Yeah.
Anybody that's gonna throw shit to the wall, eventually some of it is gonna stick. So for you guys that are in the game, make your money while you can. But I hope you understand how to adapt when it shifts. Most people that I know, and I'm sure you know, and I've experienced, and I was one of them, only knows how to make money on an incline.
Correct.
On an upswing. They only know how to make money. So everybody think that they stars. Everybody think that they superheroes. I want to see how you're going to play when it comes down, because it will come down.
It definitely, the market does this.
That's right. So what ends up happening is up and down, up and down, up and down. And then sometime around 2013, after doing a bunch of other things in between outside of real estate, because I owned the nursing agency, I owned the tire shop. Once again, like I told you, I had the investment with the water park.
Gotcha.
I was just trying, bro. That's all it was. I was just trying, man. So if you keep trying hard enough, something is gonna stick to the wall.
Something gonna pop. Exactly. Definitely.
I had the same attitude like a lot of people that was failing. That the bulk of the people that are showing stuff on the internet, well, especially today, they're lying. There's nobody making no money in real estate like that. This is bullshit. My last failure, I shouldn't say my last failure, because I still have, anybody that's doing this business to scale, you're gonna have losses. That's the game.
Exactly.
Okay. But my official last failure, because of me skipping the processes and not following through, happened sometime in 2012, 13. I don't remember. I've done a lot of deals, bro, so I apologize if
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So once again, I decided to go back to Atlanta. I went and I bought me a single family flip in Duluth County in Atlanta. When I bought the property correctly. I factored in correctly the rehab costs, but I didn't properly vet the contractors that were going to work for me.
That's
I buy that property, go through the process. Things took a lot longer than expected. The contractor robbed me as well, but I learned so much during that process. After that happened, I end up losing about $40,000 on that deal, literally. But they wrote me a check for $90,000.
Okay.
The balance.
Okay.
I come back home. My father says to me in Creole, he says to me, Bibi, ou fini avec ça? So he says to me, Welby, you are done with this, right? Because he keeps seeing the failures.
Gotcha.
And I tell my father, yo, Dad, I got it. I got it this time. He says to me, what you mean? I say, yo, Dad, I got it this time. That $40,000, that $90,000 loss, that $40,000 loss and that $90,000 check was a turning point in my career.
Okay, turn things around. Gotcha. I
took that $90,000. I decided that I didn't want to go back to New York to do business. I was doing business in New York, by the way, too, during this period. I was making money. I made a bunch of money back and forth. I didn't know how to properly keep the money. When I got this money, a friend of mine was telling me for a while about Connecticut and was saying, why don't you come to Connecticut? I always tell people I've been in New York all my life and I've never been to Connecticut.
Okay, I know, right up the street. Exactly.
And it's right up the street, an hour away from me. Not even an hour. The border is half an hour from me.
Right, okay.
I told him, I make a deal with you. I got this property that I sold. I'm going to come up to Connecticut. I'm going to come and check it out. I went up there, and when I told my father that I got it, the reason why I said I got it is because I had that private conversation with myself, right? So I tell everybody, lie to the world all you want. Front to the world all you want. Make the world believe whatever the hell you want that world to believe, but don't believe your own lies. Be real with yourself.
So true.
So I was real with myself, and I had to do a reflection on what was my issue. I was talking too much. I was acting the part that wasn't me. I wanted to portray an image that wasn't real, and I wasn't willing to follow through completely. I wanted to then say that it wasn't me, it was the industry, it was the people lying, but then I had to be real with myself. It was me. I was the root cause of it. I had that conversation with myself in my bathroom with tears coming down my eyes, brother. Because I wouldn't let nobody else see it.
Got you.
Right? But I had tears down my eyes, for real. That's the same time when I told my father I got it. I said, yo, Welby, you know what you're going to do, man? You're going to do this and you're going to do it right. No matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult it gets, you're going to go through and you're going to follow through on this. You know the process that you got to. You've tested yourself enough. Don't repeat the same mistakes that got you here again.
That's right.
So sometime around that time, I went up to the areas and I started studying the market. Literally studying the market. Understanding what the market is going to give me. Also, my financial situation wasn't as strong anymore because remember, I kept losing. I lost everything with that at that period.
Okay.
So what ended up happening, I decided I'm going to start flipping houses. Seriously now start flipping houses. I flipped a few in between, but I wanted to seriously flip houses this time. So what I wanted to do is start to build up a team. So what I started doing now is when I went up there, I knew that I had to start building up a team. So I started building up a team of realtors that I interviewed and described to them what I needed them to do for me. Understanding the fact that the bulk of the people that you're going to speak to are not going to understand what it is I'm talking about, even if they are a seasoned realtor, because a realtor doesn't necessarily mean they're an investor.
Facts. Big facts.
The same gentleman that I introduced me to the area was already doing contractual work, but nothing serious. So I decided to bring him in on my team, and it was just him and his father as the contractor. I didn't have an entourage of people like I have today. So my team was a realtor. I already worked with who I was going to utilize for lending. I already worked with who I was going to utilize for contracting, which was 2 people. Then when we started looking at the properties, I understood what I needed to know as far as what the value of the property will be, not what it is, what it will be completed. How much is it going to cost me to rehab it? Because remember now, I got a small contracting team with me. So I answered the questions and I started putting in my office. I put in my office and I got told no.
Oh.
That's the game, bro. You know the game.
Correct.
The people today don't want to hear the fact that that's the game.
No, exactly. Rejection.
I got told no, and every time I got told no, I got more aggressive in finding a deal. I made sure to stay disciplined at the price point I needed to acquire, to how much I needed to fix, to how much I could sell it for. And if it didn't fall within my criteria, I wasn't doing the deal. Eventually, after about 2 months, I got a phone call and I got my first yes.
Ooh. How many no's would you say that is, brother? How many no's would you say? 10, 15?
During that period of time, I had to have been about 30 of them. So once I got my yes, the exciting part about it was because I know I was buying it right.
30?
I wasn't guessing. I was calculating.
Ooh.
I ended up buying the property. The property took my guys about 3 months or so to get done.
Okay.
We got it done, put it on the market. A few weeks later, I got I don't remember if it was a full price offer, but long story short, I made a net profit on that deal of $25,000.
Awesome.
Bro, I was so proud of myself, my man.
Exactly.
I was so proud of myself. And not only I was proud of myself, I proved that I can do it and I could do it right. I took that money and reinvested the initial 90 I had, plus my $25,000 profit. Now I have $115,000 if I'm doing the math right off the top of my head. Right? Or 105, whatever, 105,000. No, 15.
Yeah, 115.
Took that money and reinvested it to do another deal again. And then the same thing happened again, but this time instead of making $25,000, I made $70,000. Took that same money, all of the initial 90 plus the $70,000 profit plus the $25,000 profit, and I did it again. That year, to just be quick, I did 2 flips that year. The following year, I maybe did 3 or 4 flips that year. The following years after that, I started averaging about 20 flips a year. Wow. And when I started, when I was starting, like I said, it was just myself and the 2 people, the father and son. I was training him to understand that I cannot be here with you. I gotta be out here getting us more deals.
Correct.
So I gotta pull myself out of my position, pull you into my position, pull your father into your position, or vice versa, and then pull somebody else into your position, and let's build this thing up. By that point, at one point, I had about 12 to 14 employees working with me, vehicles and everything, and we just got busy. So, then from that point, fast forwarding, any investor in this business, you understand that you only as good as the last flip that you do.
That's it.
You're only as good as the last wholesale house that you do.
That's it.
As soon as that property is sold, the money stops. You got to find the next one. So my play, I knew long term was going to be me starting to buy rentals. So remember, I told you I had a game plan.
Correct.
So by the time I won't say I was all said and done because I'm flipping a bunch of houses now, but I'll explain that to you. Okay. By the time I finally positioned myself to start buying rentals, I had over 7 figures in liquid money ready to go.
Nice.
Took that money and started strategically identifying the neighborhood and the area I wanted to invest in before I spent the dime. We as people are quick to spend the big money, but don't want to spend the money for the education. Because it looks good. It looks good to the people that you bought that big car, that big house, but they don't know that you're struggling to pay that mortgage or that car payment every month, right? So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to make the mistake I did in 2004. So what I decided to do, this is my personal decision, every rental property I buy, I'm buying it with 20% down.
Okay. Nice.
Right? Because I'm buying it with 20% down, I don't have PMI. I get the best terms. My principal balance is pretty low, and I'm buying distressed and or underperforming. So I buy my property. I started buying. Now my portfolio, the way it works, 1/3 of each property that I own, and I only buy 3 units or more, 1/3 of the property covers all expenses. Mortgage, taxes, maintenance, insurance, and everything. The other 2/3 are profit. Same thing. So that means in my 3 families, I only need 1 apartment to cover everything. The other 2 apartments is pure profit. My 6 units, I only need 1.5 to 2 apartments to cover everything. The other 4 apartments is pure profit. So that's what I started doing, building up. And then now, if you fast forward to today, I got multiple rentals. I'm bringing in tens of thousands of dollars in net income. That's important for the people to understand.
Exactly.
And net income a month. This year, I have a beautiful partnership that kind of landed on our lap by the grace of God. This year, we slated to do 40 to 50 flips this year, and skies is the limit for us right now. So that's my story.
Brother, let me tell you something, man. One, like, I had a lot of guests. You are definitely the cream of the crop. Now, if you mind if I peel back the onion just a little bit on some of those things?
100%, go ahead.
If you mind me asking, in terms of, well, one, you educated us so much in terms of putting 20% down. Now, like you said, 1 unit, cover all expenses, the rest is profit. If you mind sharing, how many units do you have? Or is that no?
Okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm extremely careful of what I talk about now.
Okay.
No, but
I got that.
But if you don't mind, I'll explain to you why.
Okay, I get that.
There's so many hating people out here that you like to think that you could expose certain things. Okay. And I have people that are literally sitting there watching me, paying attention to me. And as I've had people literally go out their way to cause deals that I have pending to fail. Or sales that I'm having to not happen, and including the amount of rental income that I have. So because of that, what have happened, if you'll notice, back in 2018, and I would even call it early 2019, I used to show fronts of my properties and even give the addresses. I don't do that. I don't do that anymore because I had even home inspectors that don't look like us, if you know what I mean. I got you. Because I'm investing in those type of neighborhoods that would ironically be called in by the buyers that didn't know, and the investor would go to the property and say, "Wait a minute, isn't it? I think it's that guy Welby's property," and would then blatantly create a false narrative of the property.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow.
So that's why when it comes to that,
Understandable.
I'm not into the dick swinging contest
Correct.
of how much. I don't do that. What I can guarantee you is I got receipts.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I don't doubt you, brother. Correct.
And the people that come to my events, I expose my receipts to them. I expose my bank statements to them. I expose the HUD statements to them, because I want the people that come and rock out with me to understand that I'm official. And I can back it up. And I can back it up. So that's the reason why I don't expose that type of information just free. Like I just want, out of respect for you, I want to explain why. That's why.
I get you. One thing I do like about you, brother, and I'm feeling, and I know other people feel the same thing, is, which I emphasize a lot to my team, is being transparent and being authentic. I mean, you hitting us with it. Let me ask you something in terms of, why do you do minimum 3 family units and you don't do single family in terms of buying whole?
I tell everybody, adapt to what the market and the environment that you invest in is giving you. You got me?
Okay,
so
I got you.
The environments that I'm flipping in might not be the same environment that I'm buying a rental units in. So I can give you an example of actual example of a property that I own. So I like 3 families, one, because of the diversity. Okay. One, the difference in payment for let's just say 2 family, because a lot of people do that. If you're in an area that's not giving you the higher units, you got to adapt to that environment. My environments are giving me 3 units, 6 units, 10 units, 50 units, right? But now the way my business model works for me, let's just say, for example, I had bought this is a little while ago, but I had bought a 3-unit property. Well, it's a 4-unit now. I converted it to a 4-unit, but it was a 3-unit property.
Is this the one that you're highlighting now on? Because
that's one of many.
That's one of many. Got you. Okay, I got you.
The one I'm highlighting now, I don't know if you're talking about the one that got burned down. That got fired.
Yes, the one that got burned down. Yes.
No, that's one of many. The ones that I have are similar to that one. But yes, so I'll give you an example of that one since you bought that one. I'm gonna break something down. You're gonna love it. When I bought that particular property, I bought that one as a short sale, right? Okay. So now, a 2-family at the time when I bought it, a 2-family, let's say, was selling for $120,000. Just to make easy, I was able to buy that one as a short sale for $125,000. Okay. So for the same unit that you would pay for a 2-unit, the average cost for me in my area to buy a 3-unit would be, let's say, another $15,000 to $20,000. Let's just say. So when I bought this one, I put 20% down. When I put the 20% down, and especially with today's rates, is why I tell people, you better get into this game. My mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, and everything on that property was $958 a month.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
You got me, right?
Ooh, yes.
And the reason why is because I put my 20% down. I stay focused. Now it's $958 a month. First, I have relationships with the city. I house battered women. I house regular people. I house people that are coming home from parole. I have contracts with the city. So remember now, the property mortgage is $958 a month. First floor, I was getting $1,200 a month.
Yeah, it covers everything. There it is.
Covers everything, plus giving me another $200 in my pocket. Second floor, I was getting $1,200 a month. Profit. Third floor, I was getting $1,200 a month. Profit. So just off of that building alone, with a 20% down at the time of me buying that property, which cost me, I don't know, with closing costs and everything, $50,000, that building in net profit a year was generating me $25,000 a month a year sleeping. Which means, here's the strategy, bro, which means in 18 months to 2 years, that building would reimburse me everything it cost me to acquire it. And then now I'm free and clear. Nice. Now, let me pimp something more to you now what happened. So everybody know that building burned down. I had a negligent tenant that burned it down. Insurance covered it. My construction company rebuilding it. We were also able to now convert that building from a 3-family to a 4-family. By converting it to a 4-family, you already know what happened. I got me an extra income in the building. That same building originally were all 2 bedrooms each floor. Each floor, I told you how much I was getting, 1,200, right?
Correct.
I was able to increase the bedroom size because now I got a blank canvas, so 4 bedrooms each floor. I'm able to increase the rents from 1,200 to 1,500 each floor. Then I got another apartment, legal apartment, by the way, for $1,200. So that same building that was producing me a net profit of $2,400 is now going to be producing me over $4,000 a month in net income. The value of that property is worth, that value of that property is going to be worth $350,000 to $400,000. So I owe on that property, I don't know, maybe about $80,000 on that left, but it's worth pushing $350,000 to $400,000.
Beautiful.
And that story I just described to you, you can multiply that times a bunch. I mimicked that at the same time. So for the people that want to do numbers on me, you could do your estimate of what we're generating after taxes, what we're generating.
Minus the fire.
Minus the fire.
Minus the fire, exactly.
Hey guys, thank you for watching our show. We're going to interrupt you real quickly. We are in the business of referrals. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, residential or commercial, here in the North Carolina area, refer us. We really appreciate that.
Brother, let me tell you something, man. I mean, so many great Jews. I want to segue into, you brought up your program. Mentoring, coaching, all these different programs. You see so many people out here, they said, I got them, sign up for this course. Brother, tell us about your course. I feel the authenticity and how people can learn and how they can pretty much learn, get from it.
Well, if you're inspired and pushed by our conversation, that's the course for 4 hours. The course is the ultimate guide for beginners and people that has minimal experience about finding houses to flip for profit. That's the breakdown of that. Now, here's the thing I don't want people to get limited to. The course is not strictly about finding houses to flip for profit. It's about the mindset as well.
There we go.
Your foundation, when you're buying a property, the foundation of your business is the acquisition. If you're not buying right, you're fucking yourself. If you're not buying right, whatever you're going to do, if you continue doing it in that same manner, will eventually crumble. So the goal for this course, I'm not showing you how to deal with the contractors yet. The next course is doing that. I'm not teaching you about cash flowing. That's not what we talk about with this course. I dig into you for 4 hours in this course about understanding the process of how to identify, find, and fund finding the right deal. If you understand that, people, right, to all your peoples, why this is so important. If you find, acquire, and fund the right deal, everything else falls in place because you started right. But if you buy the property incorrectly, you buy it not understanding your numbers, everything else that you're going to do behind that is going to be chasing, trying to repair your initial mistake.
That's it.
So this is why it's important. So that's what my online course is going to help you with. I'm saying this as humble as possible. It's the dopest online course in this game. I've sold hundreds of them. They could go to my website and they could check out the real testimonials. They're real testimonials. I'm not paying nobody to do nothing. They're all official. I got the hottest online course in the game. And if you truly talking about wanting to be started in this business and you want to learn from somebody that's truly doing it, I didn't make my money in real estate selling courses. I made my money doing real estate. And I do real estate every day today. The second portion of what we talk about is I have a thing called the ride-along, the real estate ride-along, or the real estate ride-along. The ride-along entails, in my area, I try to keep them small, 50 to 60 people tops per. For the people to come meet with us at the office. When they meet us at the office, we have luxury buses there waiting for them. They come, we become a family, essentially. Everybody has to join the group on WhatsApp or whichever other program that we use, and basically they become me for the day. They experience what I do for the day. I break down to them step by step my processes of finding the properties, how I find the properties. I introduce them to my contractors. I introduce them to my partners, my realtors, my attorney. I introduce them to everybody. I provide them the HUD statements, my bank statements, the deeds, the copies of everything, so that every property I'm going to take you to, I encourage you, don't believe me. Do your research. If that property do not belong to me, I'll give you your money back with interest. You got my word. I take everybody on the bus and we spend multiple hours, and I take them to 3 to 4 current flips that we have at different stages. And then I also take them to, if I'm able to, if I don't have any rentals at the time, or if I have any open, I take them to my rental properties. Then after that's all said and done, the importance of it is that the people get to experience it.
Experience it, exactly.
Right? Then I take everybody back to our office space. We also own a restaurant. So I have catered food.
Oh, that's nice.
I own a restaurant in Florida as well.
Oh, wow.
So we have catered food for the people. And let me tell you, it's a big family. We're going to eat, we're going to drink, we're going to laugh, we're going to talk, we're going to cry. After everybody fill their belly up, then everything that we dealt with for the day is going to come back, and we're going to converse about that. And we're going to go into detail, into depth about what it is, the mindset, what we do, and then we there for the people until the last person is done with us. So we don't have a time constraint. It's our property. So there's no time constraint of saying, hey, we got to be out of here by 2, 3, 4 o'clock. If the last person needs me at midnight, I'm going to be there till midnight to answer all your questions. Because my thing is, and I'm going to end this, you got to start holding the people that you get in your lessons from accountable.
Facts. Big facts.
You understand? There's too many people out here now. Everybody now is selling you a bunch of snake oil, and they're not doing what they're claiming. And the way that they got their wealth was selling you something that they didn't even do.
Exactly.
You got me? So at the end, my goal is to make sure you paid for the time. You got me until you done. And then after that, till this day, I still got people on the group chats 3 years later. We still all conversing. We still kicking it. One of my partners is one of my students from 3 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So what we talk about and what we teach works. It's up to you to actually take it, apply it, and go all the way with it. But it works.
Well, brother, let me tell you something, man. So many great gems and insights. Every guest we have, we actually give us what you gave us, about 1,000. But if you had to narrow down for 2 golden nuggets, right? Whether it be a book, scripture, quote, or something that, from your experience, again, you gave us so many, give us 2 of them.
As far as what? I just want to be clear.
2 golden nuggets, right?
My number one nugget, I would tell you, bet on yourself. I would tell you to bet on yourself first. You can't do it by yourself, but bet on yourself. And I'll elaborate. My biggest causes of failure was me betting on other people. When people say that they want to be entrepreneurs, most of them are lying when they say it. Because what happens is now, when you say that you want to be an entrepreneur and your primary goal is to go and look for partnerships, or your primary goal is to look for somebody that you think is the one that's going to take you to the promised land so you can give them your money, you're not betting on yourself.
That's right.
And every time I did that, and I believed in someone else more, and I gave up my money to them, they robbed me. So I'm not saying not to get your lessons from people, not to do business, but bet on yourself. That's your number one. That's your number one I would give. My second one, bet on yourself, bro.
I like that.
That's my second one, bro.
I like that. Well, listen, you all, we just want to thank Mr. Welby for being on the Headley Group Real Estate Show, and we'll see you all next time. You guys take care.